Welcome to Bharat Connect July edition of the panel discussion. With us, we have two exciting panelists to discuss the interesting topic. Did we, like, you know, service industry, did we fail or, due to the COVID, or, how are we surviving this, the difficult situation of, total unpredictable scenario that occurs once in 100 years probably, so that we are facing right now. So the challenge as such, we don't have to explain much about what's happening around the globe, around within India, or for any particular company or a family as such, anything. So all of us know the context and what the impact is. So the question is, as a company, we have to have some kind of a customer support. Almost that's true for all companies. And how well are we doing? And what are the challenges? Did we fail as a in terms of customer service, or did we survive? If or what we need to do to survive, and what worked, what did not work, and is there any better technologies, techniques? So we have a few questions put together, to try to unravel all these details, with our panelists. So we have two panelists only today. We are supposed to have three. Mr. Ajay Gupta is not able to join us today due to some family emergency. So we just got a call a few minutes back. So let's move with our two panelists today who are here, and go over and discuss this topic. So as I said, so customer support is being challenged a lot recently due to a lot of different factors. Many of the companies are facing a challenge because the way how they have set up, right? So it could be that the platform that they are using to enable the customer support, is working very well, or it is restricted to work only within their office premises, or the way how they have integrated with their the whole an infrastructure, like a CRM, everything, to know or let the their customer support engineers or the agents to be able to explain to their end customers. So the challenge is, when the pandemic hit, everybody has to work from home one way or other, or at least a remote office location, not in their traditional office space. So which created the issue of how do we make this agent productive? How do we make sure agent has all the information they need to answer the call? And are the agents are being able to connect to our platform and able to work, or these agents are ready to work with with lots of things going on in their own life, are they even ready to work, or or they are not, they just don't bother to work during this pandemic time. So a lot of different challenges. So as a technology driven economy, and what we have been going through recently, so we have started exploring different options like AI based chatbots, or enabling different ways where customer can communicate not with a human but with a computer of some sort, and then get some of their details, or having a customer to work with some of their app or whatever to satisfy their some of their questions and all that, so that way we reduce the dependency of having an agent to answer any particular question, so things like that. So this is a a wrong strategy, but we have been proceeding in that direction for a long time anyway. But only thing the pandemic has made it to do is make it much more faster, drastically pushed us to that stage. So is it a wrong strategy, or this is anyway has to happen in future? So we just got started with the same the right direction, but a little bit faster. It is, that's all we have to say. So let's look into all those questions and see what we can come up with, and what our panelists are here to explain us, share their experience. So let's jump on to the introducing our panelists, and then to the to, to some of our questions and take their input. Okay, so we have Tanmay Mohan Panda. So he is a head of strategy of banking industry, leading banking industry, and when I'm introducing Tanmay, I want to talk a little bit about what attracted me in his profile is he's engineering by default and an MBA by chance and a banker by choice. So because like an engineer, MBA, and a banker, it's all over. But so that's what I was just talking to Tanmay. So looks like he's enjoying what he is doing, and he knows exactly and he what he is doing, and lots of experience, because working with the top four private banks is going to make you understand a lot of different parts of the business, and how to make it work, and the sales in general are how a customer from the banking sector is impacted today, because it's one of the major concern that we all face. So we thought Tanmay could be our best bet, to get that kind of thought process to us and explain us. So we have we can wait to hear from Tanmay. So thank you so much, Tanmay, to be here with us. So welcome once again, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Utaman, for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks. So we have Ajay Gupta, as I said, co-founder, CEO of Mob Texting. He's not able to join us with due to the some family emergency. We just got a call a few minutes back. So there is definitely there's always next time. So we'll definitely get hold of Ajay in later one of our sessions, and be able to discuss with him, and get his feedback on all that. If any one of our participants today have any questions they want to get answer from Ajay also, we can definitely arrange for that. So that's not an issue at all. So we'll be able to get his feedback and then get back to our participants. So that is definitely option. So please feel free to do that. And we have Saloni Arora. So she's another panelist here to help us understand. She has lots of experience on the the accounts planning and strategy, and market as such in the Indian market. She was just explaining how well one of their product platform mapping all parts of the world within India, and and being able to connect them, to be able to serve and map what is available, when, where, and how much, and so this is all possible only with applying the right technology in the platform. And the other interesting part is so the big companies like ITC, or a lot of the FMCG and other industry and all that are also could be using a platform like theirs, to be able to understand, and being able to serve one way or other, either using just a technology for analysis, or or using their technology and platform for all the way to be able to get hold of their vast network of clients around the India and everything. So she's going to be able to help us with understand how that communication is happening, and what is the challenge that they are facing, and with the pandemic, and how that is impacted them, and how they survived, what techniques. So it's definitely it's going to be a lot of interesting thoughts we are going to uncover from Saloni discussing today. So Saloni, welcome to our panel discussion today. Thank you so much for being with us, and I know you have a very, very busy schedule. So thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Kumar, for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome. Okay, so So, before even we get started, since we don't we don't have Ajay here, so I just want to open up a little bit and be able to give some time for both Tanmay and Saloni. Just what is your thought process of this question itself? Did customer service fail the COVID test? Where do you see? What do you see? What do you want to say about that in general? Before we jump into any of our questions.
No, so I don't think customer service has failed. I mean, at least given the way things have happened, it was unprecedented. No one was actually prepared for that kind of a scenario. I think it is only fair that we have to give it to the organizations that they have done everything possible within their control to give their full support to the customer, to their customers. So that way, if you ask me whether customer service as such failed, the answer is no, according to me. But yeah, that said, obviously we cannot paint the entire wall with the same brush. I mean, there could be organizations who have kind of delivered it, or handled the situation better. And there could be organizations who have probably fallen short of the expectations, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
but by and large, if you ask me, given the gravity of the situation, given the impact of the situation, and the velocity of the situation, I think by and large the organizations have handled well.
okay. Yeah. Thanks, Amy. So, what about you, Sonny? You want to share your thought process? Yeah.
I agree with Tanmay that customer service, even to my mind, has not failed. So again, as he said, that you can't paint the wall with the same color. It is not true for all the businesses. There were some businesses that were able to understand the gravity of the situation and decode what is the way forward. And this evolution was due for quite some time, at least in customer service, when we consider India as a case in scenario, because we have never been a very customer obsessed business circle anyways. So,
Yes.
but it has made us evolve and evolve quite swiftly, because with the gravity, the way, in 48 hours, the functioning of the country changed.
Mhm.
In the world history, this is only the second time when the Olympics is being postponed. The first
Okay.
was during the World War II.
Yeah.
So that's the gravity that we are dealing with. But
Yeah.
if in this situation, even partially, few businesses can be the early adapters and evolve and change their customer service perspective, I think we have the answer should be that we have not failed
Great.
as a business community.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So, just I agree with both of you. Just to be as a devil's advocate, just we want to put that question out there, because we purposely made that question saying did we fail? It's a little bit more dramatic, but this is to reflect the customers who are facing that kind of frustration when they are trying to get some answers, especially like in banking, or or doing any of their daily activity, right? Some of the activity is supposed to be very trivial and day-to-day routine, but then it is not happening, and they want to know why, what happened, but they're not able to get hold of somebody, right? Because now they are stuck with talking to a chat bot, or some kind of a platform which is trying to answer their question. Unfortunately, that has some limitation, right? Because this AI and everything is going to work better with a better model. Model comes with a lot of data, and the data comes with a lot of customer interaction, and we feed into them. But unfortunately, when we are trying to speed up everything, and trying to close a cycle very quickly, we are not having that much of enough time, enough data, and so the AI platform also is kind of limited, and it's that's a situation that as a customer, we all are facing some kind of impact, right? Like whether it's just a ticket canceling or changing, or like, talking to any other different appointments or whatever it is. So like, we are stuck on a phone for an hour or two or three, uh, things like that. So that's why we want to make it look at least trying to get the answer for that, we want to sound like that, but we are not totally negative, but we just want to provoke the thought on that, on this topic. That's why it is. So the question I want to jump into is, in a crisis, it is only natural for customers to panic and get nervous, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody has something going on in their company and in their own life and their family. So it's a very difficult situation, a lot of unknowns. So so the panic and the nervousness kicks in. So they might even push a bit harder to get what they want from the businesses. How do you look at this positively, and how do you address the need proactively as a customer service function? So sometimes as a customer, I'm expecting something. Sometimes I may be expecting a little bit more because there is a lockdown and I'm not able to move. I'm not allowed to move. And would you be able to deliver this to a hometown? Probably you may not have that area covered, but things like that. So have you come across this kind of a situation, and what is your take on that? So yeah, Saloni, you can go first, and then Tanmay, you can pick on his take. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, that is something which is actually the core of it all. And why am I saying this? So just imagine, we were just discussing that what is the gravity of the problem, and also that what is the scenario in our country regarding customer service. So those are two very important, and the scenario has also developed certain customer expectations that needs to be met. So
Right.
when we talk about US or European markets, or any other market for that matter, which is a very customer service heavy market, the expectation or the anxiety would be that much more with what we experienced in our country.
Yeah.
Very a simple example, what telecom industry did during that time, and that's exactly what I was talking about, that how brands have evolved during 2020. They for the first two cycles of the billing, just post lockdown or during lockdown, they gave you that option that, okay, relax, don't pay the bill this month, you can pay the bill next month. A very simple solution. You made my transaction easier with your company, and you want
Yes.
quality. That's a beautiful customer service example.
Yeah.
That's how I'm a little relaxed. Another something which we did as a company, and I would love to mention that tire is a grudge purchase, right? You don't buy a tire unless you need that, it is completely gone. uh, During that time, the only sector that was operating in in the world was agriculture, right? And India got, we had our first lockdown in March, in late March, and
Yeah.
March, April, and till June, it's the cycle for harvest and sowing for the farmers.
Yeah.
Imperative, that was a need of the hour, that they needed tires to be in proper shape, their tractors to be serviced properly, but the whole nation was standstill. What would they do? It will definitely affect the way they harvest or way they sow. So
Yeah.
so as as a to solve that problem, what we did with Apollo tires was that we ensured, this is first time that must have happened, that we were delivering tires home. We were
Oh.
fitting the tires and inside a farmer's home, so that
Oh.
we enable him through the
Okay.
I become his friend and be genuine. And the whole idea for the brands, or it is extremely important that you identify the changing pain points of the ecosystem
Yes.
and
Yeah,
address that.
absolutely.
And that becomes the part of customer service that you need to provide. Situation will keep on changing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, so that's very impressive. So delivering a tire at home and being able to service the customer at home, like so they would have. I'm pretty sure they would have loved it, and would have turned into a long-term customer for Apollo Tires. So that's a great job. Yeah, yeah. So Tanmay, you have anything to add to this point?
Hello.
Tanmay? Yeah.
Yeah. So, see, I fully agree with what Saloni has just said. I mean, that similarly with banking industry as well.
Yeah.
If you see during the pandemic, there were banks who actually reached out to societies with something called as a mobile ATM, wherein
Oh,
they took, the ATMs door to door, and then one at one society at one place, and then on the next day to another society, some another place. And in a similar way, coming to what Saloni said, the same telecom example that she gave, I mean, into banking industry, the government as well as the RBI themselves have come up with giving some kind of a relaxation. So, which I think is more of a government driven. But having said that, there are banks who have gone a bit lenient in terms of their overall collection process as well. I mean, with the government support or without the government support, I think the banking industry has also done their equally bit. And the good thing, if you see, government, I mean, the banking industry actually was coming under the essential services. So the banking transactions were actually happening as usual, even in a pandemic situation like this. None of the branches were actually shut down, unlike in some of the other, industries.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true. Yeah, even I heard about it. Like some of the banks were delaying their collection or like giving them a little bit more time and like all kinds of arrangements. Yeah. So, but interesting fact is like getting the ATM to their location. I was not aware of that. That's a very interesting thought. And probably the most appropriate thing to do also when they are not able to move out, so you take the most needed cash to their door location, so what more could they ask for? Okay, so Tanmay, so this question is more on a banking side. So customer, I guess it's going to be extension of what we just discussed. Customer service quality is a main reason customers like their bank, right? Especially in a crisis like this. That said, the customer service function is the most affected by the pandemic, right? Face support is one of the most important fact for a bank, which is just broken as of now. So dealing with all these multiple issues, takes hit on their customer confidence and what they think about the bank as such. So what are banks doing? Just like you explained, like taking the ATM to their doorstep and delaying a little bit of their collection. What more banks are doing and to help with the situation?
Yeah, so the banks are actually taking many measures. Actually, one is obviously, like I said, reaching out to customers and coming out with the mobile banking kind of a concept. And
Okay.
apart from that, if you see, probably the banks are also trying to educate the customer in digital adaptation, right?
Okay.
I think the one positive thing, if at all there is some that has come out from this pandemic, is as far as technological advancement is concerned, we have actually we are currently today where otherwise we would have been maybe 10 years later, as far
Yeah.
as the digital adaptation, as far as the overall people's adaptation is concerned, the overcoming the resistance to inertia, etc. As far as these things are concerned,
Mm.
this pandemic had actually helped everybody a lot way. And
Yeah.
coming to your specific question, what else banks have done? If you see today, banks are also trying to understand the overall well-being of their customers. I'm sure you would have come across a lot many mailers or probably messages wherein the first thing they say is ki, hope you are safe, everything is good with you, and then they try to educate people in terms of how they can adapt themselves better so as to help themselves in the so-called social distancing, right? So that is something I think not only banks, I would say even the other industries have also done it fairly well.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the big challenges. Even if you think about on the telco side, also there's a lot of things have changed. Like you said, we have just fast forwarded, like probably 5 or 10 years in terms of the regulations and all the other stuff. Also, so those are the positive impact overall as we move move along. So yeah, yeah, very very good points, Tanmay. So the next point want to highlight and discuss with the panelists is the crisis has been going on for a long time now. This doesn't look like that it is going to be short-lived either, right? So what lessons have businesses learned in the past year? What did they measure, and how can that be used to provide better customer experiences? So Saloni, you want to take this one? Yeah.
Okay, so I as we were discussing, and now Tanmay was also mentioning that there's a lot of education that brands are providing, and we have evolved in our whole thing. So what this pandemic has done is it has given time to reflect and introspect for each business. It's not new that so today when we attend any customer service seminar or any other seminar which tells you that what you need to do for your business, they ask every other panelist or everyone in the whole industry is talking about be more resilient, be more agile, be more adaptive, think like your customer thinks. However, nobody is defining that space, right? What does this agility means? The
Yeah.
thing is that first thing is to put your own house in order. So I'll give you one example. The first panic situation was actually at the business side, because businesses, their production was stopped. There was no funding. The small and medium enterprises were hit so badly. And for big businesses also, their whole trade and channel partners, everything was affected. So the idea was that before you even think of customer service, you had to put your own order or your house in order. And the
Yeah.
best way to do this was that adapt to new technology measures.
Yeah.
For a company like ours, who we were always in processes, but because we could see people, so there might be things that we would not mark on our calendars. Your schedules would run in your diaries more than everything is there and everybody knows. But the time when we hit this and we knew that we are going to work from home, that's when we got into processes. That's when we started to adopt. We knew what the technology is, just like our consumer, because consumer was exposed to video calling, was exposed to chatting, was exposed to WhatsApp bot for shopping with Myntra and Flipkart, with Amazon. So not
Yeah.
that WhatsApp bot is a new thing, but the way we are using these things and how effectively we are managing customer service now, it has really helped us evolve
Oh.
in that manner.
Oh,
And
okay.
you know and very small, another, this reminds me of an incident. I was talking to a friend. She lives in LA, and in the second this thing phase of opening up, so the cafes opened up, and the only takeaway was allowed in those
Yeah.
cafes.
Yeah.
uh, and initially what happened is, so when they went for their first coffee, they got a toilet paper roll free, right, as a service. And then they checked, so they got to know that for coming 15 days, every day on every order, they are giving toilet paper free, because paper became a luxury that time, right? People were
Yeah.
hoarding, and there were certain people who were not able. It's such a bizarre customer service experience,
Yeah.
but it the thinking, they put their house in order, and they provided customer with a thing that was most valued.
Yeah. At that time. Yeah.
At that,
Absolutely.
so whilst I'm putting in my this thing in order, that's when I need to evolve in thinking that my customers' pain points and his requirements are evolving.
Yeah.
And that's where it made all the difference, that even government had a COVID bot. We Today we are booking our so we can discuss the success and the failure of Covin as an app, because it is not available in vernacular, but government is moving towards that. But that's how, for a country like India, it is also managed through technology. However, communicating about that technology and
Mhm.
letting people know, and making uh, the whole journey of customer service experience easier is still a communications job. So you
Yeah.
have to work hand in hand, wherein you're adopting new technologies, you're adapting new ways to doing things, but you need to communicate in a very simple manner that the process is not overwhelming whilst the
Yeah.
consumer is adapting the technology.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So what you explained in earlier, like, it's very interesting, and it is like, like, we are not even exaggerating that, like, it was really a need of the hour, for many of the families at that time, because what really happened is, in US, what happens is, when there is a, for example, little emergency. What I mean by little emergency is when there is a storm, like a hurricane hits us, right? So we have outage. We could be having outage for like a few hours or a few days, or like, we could be having a disturbance in our some of the distribution and all that for a few days, right? Probably 1-2 days or something like that. So even with that kind of impact, like, so, like, so what started happening is recent years, people started to prepare for it, like, overly prepared for it. So we start to buy a lot of stuff, and literally, uh, shops like a Home Depot and Lowe's, who sell, like, household, like, materials, building materials, and all that. If you go to those shops, they are like a huge warehouses. Most of them would be like, having all the essential items empty, just before, like, storm, or like, a snowstorm, or like anything like that. So people are, like, made that one is a, like, once a panic situation into a, like, regular routine, to, like, to be able to prepare. So they just don't even know what they have at home. They just buy a lot of stuff and then keep it, and then, like, so we don't even know whether it's going to be used or not. So but that's the situation. So given that situation, like, when this pandemic started, so there was absolutely no date given when it is going to be reopened, right? So so you don't even have to, like, imagine what went through everybody's mind, like, so you practically go to any shop, like, you are not getting anything, like, like as a hand sanitizer or a soap, or like, all these essentials, like, so the bath rolls, or like, whatever it is. So it was such a chaos, like, in the beginning of the pandemic, and then, like, it took almost a few months to get settled. Some of the items are still, like, not in order, like, one of few of those, like a Clorox wipes, like, the Lysol, and like, those kind of products, like, so they were absolutely, like, were in demand, meaning, like, so the product which used to be given out and a discount and things like that now became a premium, not only premium. So that was the only reason people are going back to the shop, like, just to buy that wipes, and just to buy that soap, and like things like that. So they now started regulating it at some point, like, we will give you only one. So you can go, but you can buy only one and come back. So and you have to stay in a line and things like that. So yeah, it was a long, like a painful experience. But thing is, like, just to get through that difficult times, companies have to take different steps, and the retailers did their best, like rationing with what they have, and they have started introducing senior hours, for example. Some like most of the shops, like the grocery shops, especially. So morning 8 to 9, or 1 hour or 2 hours, it's the seniors. So I don't know the definition, probably 60 or something like that, 60 or above, or 55 or above, something like that. So which enabled for those folks to be able to go and get what they wanted. Otherwise, they would be standing in a long line, and so things like that. So yeah, I guess keeping the house in order, like you mentioned, is a critical thing. Once you have that, then you get to think about what other things that you can do, or what other things are going to be very useful for the customers, right? So that's a very good point. Thanks, Harani. So next one question is for Tanmay. So this is about the digital channels, right? The digital channels and the digitization of customer service have been spoken about length in last few quarters. And how do you do this migration that helps both customers as well as businesses? And how do you budget for them? So do you see coming out of this pandemic, or in the middle of the pandemic still, budget is being a constraint for that, or how do you go about that?
No, so there are two things we are talking about here. One is the migration.
Yeah.
See, whenever you want to migrate from one channel to the other,
Yeah.
it is not that you will complete. It is not a switch on and switch off kind of a story.
Yes.
You cannot simply pull the plug and then come up with a new strategy overnight. So
Yeah.
what is important here is to obviously implement the migration in a phased manner. You can possibly identify those set of customers who are any which way doing at least or have done some portion of their transactions through digital models, and these are the ones who you can consider to migrate immediate basis. And then there would be the other one who possibly haven't even bothered to log into their net banking or mobile banking. So
Yeah.
there possibly the wisdom lies to first get them onto the platform and get one transactions, educate them. And banking industry being vulnerable to, I mean, the banking industry as such is has to deal with a lot of finance and money. Then you got to be all the more careful. I mean, you have to ensure that every step that is maintained or that the customer sticks to, which
Yeah.
is out to stick to.
Yeah.
Correct. So that is where the migration part comes into picture. And like we all discussed erstwhile also, this pandemic had actually, in a way, not only helped the banks to increase the digital adoption, it also helped the customers also who were possibly not that willing to switch to a digital module to open up as well. Because in the absence of any alternative, they don't have really much of a choice but to try and experiment and get themselves adjusted and get themselves educated how to do digital transaction. And so is the case with customer service as well. I mean, uh, the one thing about which I can talk about specific to customer service is, see, digital adaptation is something which is more or less like a self-servicing channel.
Yeah.
And if we have to do cost optimization from an organization's point of view, or if you have to do scalable customer service, I think the only way is to migrate to a digital channel, right? You don't have much of a choice. I mean, if you want to grow, and if you want to grow fast, that is one thing. The other thing, as far as the budget is concerned, I don't think there is any straight answer to what percent of your income or your profitability should be allocated towards this migration, because
Mhm.
that would depend from industry to industry, within organization to organization, depending on what stage of lifespan you are in. Just to give an example, possibly the brick and mortar organizations, they they can probably still survive even if they don't allocate that much of a budget. But for example, somebody like, let's say, a payment bank,
Yeah.
which stands on the premises of digital adaptation only, because there is hardly any, in a digital payment bank, in a payment bank, if I can say, there is hardly any one-on-one customer interaction as such. So there, obviously, the percentage of budget allocation towards this migration or digital adoption has to be on a higher side.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. True. It depends on, like, how the business is operating, and, like, entirely on, based on the, digital channels, or, a mix of the customer and the digital channel. So yeah. So it depends on that one. Yeah. Thanks, Tanmay. So, touching back on our original thought. So we are hearing that customers are left on hold for hours, or sometimes they're calling back next day, and still not able to get the right answer. This is definitely not good for any business. So business also, wouldn't like to have that kind of situation, obviously. But it is forced upon them and forced upon us, a customer, on us. So how do you interpret this? Is there any tips, or, anything that you learned, what you want to share for our participants? So we can, both of you can answer, whatever you want to share about this point.
No, I think, yeah. See, if I can, add on to what actually Saloni mentioned earlier in response to your question, that what are the biggest learning of the corporates during this pandemic. Uh, if the learnings are right, then I think what you are going to get it is also fall in place. There are two things I think which matters the most. One is the business continuity, and the other one is agility. Now, while it might look like big management jargons, what at the end of the day, like Saloni mentioned, it all about is it is all about how prepared you are and have your backups ready, and how fast you can come up with those backups, right?
Yes.
Because time matters or makes a lot of difference, and that is where the men's are separated from the boys.
Yeah.
So when I say agility and business continuity, it doesn't necessarily have to be in terms of your technological or infrastructural capability, or in terms of processes.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as your even uh, people skills. For example, many times you would have seen that in organizations, it is too much person specific. If that
Yeah.
person is absent, then possibly there is nobody really to kind of give a backup to that person, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
in times like this, that matters, because obviously you can't operate with full strength. Probably there were times wherein the organizations were operating even 40%, 30% of their usual staff strength. So how do you do that? How, I mean, until and unless the guy who is kind of front ending, he is not prepared to answer the customer questions, there is
Mm.
bound to be this kind of hold times. I mean, increased hold times. He will probably put the phone on hold and try to figure out how to answer. So those gaps will not be there until and unless you are very much assured of the multi-hatting
Yeah.
and having the required skill set.
Yeah. 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 Sure. Thanks, Tanmay. So, Sonali, you want to add anything there?
Uh, Absolutely. So when we say that, we know that the companies have to be agile, and as I said earlier, also it is not necessary that every solution has to be driven by the rut that is going in the market. If some other company has really, adapted to augmented automated services, that's not necessarily that is the solution for your business too. You
Yeah.
have extremely sensitive towards the need of your consumer, and evolve in a more sensible manner, if I may
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Because end of it, just to give a very unrelated example, if a company is doing a lot of CSR, and which we have seen that the whole communication tonality, or the tonality of the industry move towards empathy or human-centric communication, if I may say.
Yeah.
What happened that after a point in time, if my bank keeps asks me that oh, hope you're doing well, hope COVID is not treating, and you hope you are maintaining the social distance, hope you're following COVID appropriate behavior, there's a limit to it, right? After a point in time, it is not something that the customer is expecting. In 2020, yes. In 2021, no. The times have changed, the pain point has changed. In today's scenario, if I talk about that, how the pain, despite we are still being chased by alpha, beta, gamma, delta variant of COVID, and it is after our lives. However, but what has changed, if not COVID, is the need of the hour. The migrant workers who are back in their own villages now, they have lack of opportunities. They have lack of resources. The small and medium enterprises or businesses or micro businesses that are being affected are still looking for solutions, and their solution to customer service is going to be very, very different. So it's and that's where the adaptation comes into play. If again I can add a few examples to make it to elaborate on the point. The best example in these current times, so we know that education industry or education as such has been affected very badly. So every aspect of human life has been affected, may it be child, elderly, or middle class, everyone throughout. We did a very simple initiative, which is called for KEI Wires. It's a wire making company, pan India. It's a listed brand, but what they identified is that the blue collar worker, the underprivileged one, are the ones for whom the accessibility and availability of things actually got affected. For an upper middle class or somebody who can afford, even if their business is shut for 6 months, they can sustain their lives. But these guys could not, right? And with their children, they could not sustain their education. So a simple solution of KEI Shiksha Abhiyan, wherein we created a website and there was free material to learn from class-wise, and for class 6, for class 7. And we taught electricians' children that how can they access this material and educate themselves.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So this is one example that how with the evolving pain point, the solutions also evolved. And as a marketer, you keep on coming across some great initiatives, and this is the one which I personally feel I wish I had done. Right. This is about Muthoot FinCorp. So when we hear about Muthoot FinCorp is a micro and small entrepreneur. They provide finances to them and help these businesses to sustain. However, in 2021, they came up with this very, very innovative campaign, which is called Let's Get India Started. What does this campaign entail? It is not about putting a camp wherein I will give you the loan or reduce the loan percentage amount, the interest rate that the customer is incurring, or make the whole accessibility easier. They did not do any of this. They actually adopted these small and micro entrepreneurs to teach them how to do business in COVID times.
Okay.
They enabled the ecosystem, right? How can you market your business on WhatsApp? How can Facebook help you? Can you create a phone number which you give to your customers and do the home delivery? For all of us, it sounds very easy, but when we think from the micro and the small entrepreneurs angle, all these things are not very easy for them. It does not come naturally to them. And that's where Muthoot FinCorp became an enabler So for life, whenever I need, as a small or a micro entrepreneur, I need this, I know they have been my genuine partners in need. You know,
Yeah.
always say that matlab, give a man a fish and you feed him for one day, but teach him how to fish and how to cook, you feed him for lifetime.
Lifetime. Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly. There are certain moving pain points that needs to be addressed with the change in time.
Yeah. 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 Rightly said. Yeah. Very, very, very good points. Connie, yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So, so coming to the last question. So, again to both of you. So I guess we have answered many of the previous questions. It's nothing new. So what are the practices that we have seen happening in the customer service space in the last few quarters? Can you share some of the success or the failures if you have come across in terms of the customer service space and given the challenge, what worked or not worked, anything. I know we have already covered a lot of different scenarios, but if there is anything more we can, otherwise we can just wrap it up and then go for a question and answers from our participants. So
So yeah, so if you ask me, I mean, this is not pandemic specific. Of course, in the pandemic, how various industries and companies try to
yeah.
come up with innovative ways and means to address customer service issues that we have liking over the last many years, even before the pandemic started, is while earlier everybody was talking about customer service, used to be the preferred management jargon and etc. But it was in the recent past it became a phenomenon. And if you measure the
There's some background noise.
am I audible now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying while everybody was talking about the so-called customer service and etc.
Yeah.
even earlier
Yeah.
since time
Yeah.
immemorial, but if you see, it is only in the recent past that organizations have actually started to measure the customer satisfaction level. I mean, in the recent past, you would have seen that whenever you avail any kind of a service, even you probably even the telecaller, when he answers your query, he asks you, sir, I will send you a link and can you please
Mm.
give me a rating from 1 to 5 depending on whether I have been able to serve your query or not.
Yeah.
So that is something which is interesting, which is a recent phenomena and which has actually started even before the pandemic. That is the good thing which I liked about the way, at least the way the industries or the organizations are actually moving in the right
Mm.
direction. Now, if you ask me what, I will not say it is a failure, but I think many times I have seen while you measure the customer satisfaction or the dissatisfaction level, the next step is what is the organizations are doing to bridge that gap. If let's
Yeah.
say a customer is not satisfied with a query, see,
Yeah.
he or she has given only 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 5, you have measured, that is fine, but an organization, what is the next step that you are taking? Why the customer is unhappy with your customer service experience?
Mhm.
And what is that you are doing, how you are using data to come up with methods and solutions to increase the customer satisfaction level. I think that is where there are some gaps which I personally feel there are still a lot of gaps to kind of um, complete
Okay.
or
Okay.
cover up.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Tamay. Saloni, you want to add?
Probably rather than to add, because we have discussed a lot of
Yeah.
examples
Yeah.
throughout this, I would like to consolidate
Yeah.
about what we've been talking about. To sum up,
Sure.
and I strongly believe that you have to be adaptive and keep on identifying that how your consumer is evolving and what are his new pain points. Keep on answering that. Be uh, be more aware of his needs, and hence the availability will follow. there is no denying to the fact that India as a business ecosystem needs to evolve a lot when it comes to customer service. But the good part to this is that the customer's expectation is also in that, the parameter of customer expectation is also less as compared to other countries. However, whenever we are doing all of this, addressing the pain points, being genuine, and adapting to the new ways which are measurable, it's very important that you always understand or keep this thing in mind, that every brand has its own character and the value system. So all the efforts that you're doing to provide a differentiated customer experience, because that's the biggest brand differentiator in the current times. It's not the product, it's not the service, but it's the experience that you're going to deliver. It should always be first true to the character and the value system of the brand, and then it will help you create or decode that what are the pain points and how can I solve it.
Okay. 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 So that's good stuff. Thanks, Sarani and Tanmay, for answering our questions. So now let us jump on to questions from our participants. So participants, feel free to go ahead with the questions. If you have any to Sarani or Tanmay, you can either send us through chat or you can unmute and ask the questions. Feel free.
So I have a question, Gautam. So we are talking about customer service. Most of the companies are today talking about customer experience today, right?
Yeah.
And they've moved from the word service to experience, and they are looking at how they can delight their customers today. While the options are limited in terms of channel, how we communicate to the customers, and the customers are actually omnipresent, and they keep giving us feedbacks in different channels, right? So how do you, in this time of pandemic when the workforce is limited, how do you handle these kind of situations and ensure that the experience is better?
Okay. Okay. Tanmay or Sarani?
Yeah, so I think it is a very valid question, because today the number of channels through which a customer can actually reach out to you has increased. Today, every other day we see that one customer or the other tags some bank and comes up, or some organization for that matter, and shares his experience, good or bad, whatever it is. But the point is, if you have seen even otherwise, that people or the organizations are not taking their customers for granted. I have always seen that even if the customer has vented out his experience or his dissatisfaction level with the organization, he has gone all out and tagging everybody under the sun to share his experience. But after that, I mean, at least the customer has always got a reward from whosoever the organization is. So I think the challenge or the success, I would say, lies that today organizations cannot ignore the customers through whichever mediums they want to reach out to. Because if you ignore, then it is the organization who will have to face the music in the longer term.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, see, the bottom line is that you have to be always on the toes. You have to ensure that you respond to customers' needs, wants, and you respond fairly fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I would add to that point. Thank you, Tanmay and Dibakar. This question is probably one of the most sought after confusion that every company would be thinking of, that how do we make it better with the current challenges wherein you cannot increase the number of people who are working in your call centers, or who are addressing to the mails. And such desperate times actually need desperate solutions. This is the time when you reflect. And as I said, when we were discussing this, that we need to first put our house in order. And how
Yeah.
do you get to do this? The first thing is keep your ensure that through using technology, you are setting the priority on what things needs to be addressed first. And the priority in today's world is set through a lot of criteria: the gravity of the problem, and plus the kind of person you are dealing with. Everything, the social listening or the social persona or the character sketch of the consumer comes to you right there. So as a customer service, this thing, the all these processes and the prioritization has to be set in. By the time you are doing this, it's important for you to keep your customer engaged, wherein he needs to understand that you empathize with his needs, and you are in touch, you are trying to solve it. And that's very important for the customer to know. And like Tanmay said, that today customer is present on multiple channels. And
Okay.
what we do is, over the period of time, you start observing certain patterns, that with this product or service, these are the types of problem that is common. And you start creating a certain education around those particular problems in a very progressive way, not calling out your product or a service to be wrong or something, because it is not that. We keep on evolving as an offering also. So these are a few ways or few measures that each company has to take in, set in their processes, and keep on moving and evolving and understanding what are the new pain points and addressing them.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sarani. Okay. What other questions? Any more questions? Or
I think no more, Uttama.
okay. That sounds good. Okay, so we'll try to wrap this session up. So so we want to thank everybody to be here, spend your time here with us from a busy schedule, discussing about the few pointers. We are trying to analyze how we are navigating this tough pandemic, and in terms of the customer service, what can be done, what are the tricks that works, not working, some of the experiences and everything. So it's been a pleasure to have all of you here. Would like to thank Tanmay for his time and being here with us, taking his time from the busy schedule, and same for Mr. Sarani to be with us today and explaining some of your own experiences and some of the very good examples, I should say, whether it's Los Angeles, your friend talking about giving out bath tissue along with some other product, or keeping the house in order, and explaining us how to be ready and how to handle the situation. So thanks so much, Sarani. We greatly appreciate both of your time and your explanation. So I'm pretty sure it will be useful for our participants. And if you come across any questions or anything, we'll be in touch with you, to get your feedback for our listeners, to help them to clarify their questions in future. And I'm pretty sure, there will be more events that we will be coming across. We'll be looking forward to, connect with, you on a different topics, and pick on your ideas. Okay. So thanks so much. So would like to wrap up this session, and look forward to meet you all soon in our next session. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Nalini. Thank you. Yeah, good night. Yeah,
Thank you, everyone.
thanks.